rescue Op, save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Hello, welcome to Fallen Kingdom, where we return to Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And in this episode we're discussing minute 38 of Fallen Kingdom. Before we do that, David, I wanted to head over to Wikipedia and just mention some facts about lava. We're going to see some interesting things in the next few minutes with this. Pyroclastic flows, all the stuff with volcanoes that people shouldn't be anywhere near.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's all sort, depending on the rock build, makeup and that of the volcano, where it is in the world, all your lava is going to have a little bit different consistencies. The heat, the temperature for molten rock, essentially what lava is, you're looking at close to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And I just think of films like Temple of Doom, where someone gets within 30 feet of lava and they just spontaneously combust.
Yeah, but then somebody else gets the hero when gets within like 3 feet of it, and it's just like,
I'm gonna faint from the heat. So, what did we look at here? 14 to 2100 degrees Fahrenheit. So there was something else, but I think I added it to the minutes themselves run sheet. So we'll get to that. So yeah, I've just got a wiki link up here for lava.
Consider that most people have to wear a specialized suit to even get like close to lava. Yeah. So there's Owen would have been burst into flame just being as close as he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I've got the little tidbit there when we get to it. How close or how long you can actually stand near lava that hot, but we'll get there.
Come on, you're a better man than you think you are.
You should write fortune cookies.
Dave, how about we get into minute 38?
Alright, sounds good.
Alright, minute 38 of Fallen Kingdom opens with our first look at the sinoceratops and ends with Owen rolling over a log to escape the lava. Convenient log. Leaving off with Owen laying helpless in the jungle clearing, we get the ominous visitor that arrived and turned out to be a harmless herbivore. Mm-hmm. I say harmless, but maybe not. As the minute opens, we get Owen's POV as the sinoceratops' mouth drooling and licking his face. Bit of a grouse out moment.
He's helplessly paralyzed here, so he's just kind of going. I mean, his mouth is slightly ajar, and anybody else kind of make it like an ew when the tongue goes past his mouth. Like, I don't even like my dog licking me in the mouth area.
No.
And I love my dog.
But even because he's obviously paralysed, so his mouth's half agape as well, and the flies buzzing around. I don't know why there's so many flies with a herbivore. If it was a carnivore, yes. Maybe it's got diarrhea, I don't know, but it's brought a heap of flies with it as well, and we can hear them buzzing around. And there's one that pretty much lands on his cheek right before it licks, and it gets stuck in the goo, the real goo that is coming from probably someone there for brush swiping it, or the animatronic tongue or something that's going across his face.
I think the idea is how basically flies have a tendency to gather around the nostrils of like animals like horses and cows.
I suppose. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But again, one lick here with the tongue, and we've got a fly encased in saliva on his cheek, buzzing and squirming away there. So I don't know if that's a little Easter egg to the mosquito getting sucked in sap or not, but
it definitely could be.
Yeah. And you bring up the fact that he's sort of moaning, straining because he doesn't want to be there. I get it here, but once he starts doing his acrobatics and moving around, I suppose he's got to make some sort of sound. If he's just quiet, then he would be essentially a mime at that point. But he's desperately trying to move his fingers. and whose body as the large animal sort of rears up on its two hind legs and slams its front feet down either side of his head. So the movie could have ended right there for for Owen. We don't get an explanation why the sinoceratops reared up here in the novel. It's because there's another loud rumble or crack from the volcano which sort of startles it. Here it sort of looks more like Owen's found a new friend that's trying to save this human. This is almost your Bumpy moment. If this was Ben and Bumpy, it's doing.
I don't think an animal would be curious about another animal while it's being chased by lava.
No,
honestly,
no.
I think its first instinct is to run.
Yep. Well, yeah, and that's when it moves off, and it's sort of weird here. Obviously, a CG animal moving away. It interacts with Owen, I'll say. I don't know if it kicks him or its back legs sort of make him roll over onto his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might have been a bit more pain here than if it was a real 6-7 ton animal walking over you like that. But of course, we can't do that. We can't hurt Owen. And the animal leaves.
He's the star. You can't hurt the star's face.
Well, it leaves, leaving him rolled over on his belly, and this gives him a clear view of that lava starting to flow into the clearing. And as the camera moves in on his face, we get that sort of orange glow in his eyes, in his pupils, and on his skin, which is probably already too hot, too hot for him right there. But that's when it happens. We cut back to Owen lying there, paralysed. The poor lava, a mere 2 feet away from most of him. It's flying up over the Explorer somehow. I don't know how it's going up and over the vehicle.
Yeah, the last time I watched the movies, I noticed that, and I'm like, I don't think I have it too hard.
Well, we do get the shot here too after this with the lava sort of coming down over the Jurassic logo, the Jurassic Park logo on the side of the Explorer, and it's sort of meant to be that signifier of this is it. Yeah. This volcano's taking it. The park's gone. Jurassic World's going to be gone.
Taking out our childhood.
Yeah.
And it does pull at the heartstrings. I will admit, it does its job.
Mm. And I think we've mentioned before just how this could have been as the volcano's going, even if it's later with the Arcadia leaving. Of course, they use the brachiosaur moment there to sort of bring that sort of upsettingness of the park's gone. But you could have easily had a cut to the Explorer being submerged in lava, the visitor centre on fire, the facade of the raptor enclosure being burnt as well, sort of showing some of those key scenes, even the innovation centre on fire. Just a quick 20 second montage of some of the iconic locations we know from Nublar being destroyed. But instead it's only...
Honestly, I think it really would have worked to the movie's advantage if it had done that and just kind of given us this is the end moment for Isla Nublar. We kind of get that with the Brachiosaurus, but it's not really as evocative, I think, as showing these various locations of our childhood kind of gone.
And you kind of have to, because you're moving away from the islands. You don't want to go back. This whole volcano erupting is to get you away from the islands, yet they don't show any of it. Even in Dominion, where we get the now this at the start, we get I'm pretty sure there's a shot there of Mount Cebu with greenery back on it.
There is.
Even though there's a big hole in the side of the mountain, but that's Gyrosphere Valley. Like, that's one portion up in the north. We don't... Again, they're telling us that, the island's destroyed, everything's been destroyed on the island, all the animals are dead on the island, but really, I suppose, yes, it's to leave holes open for sequels, whatever, moving forward. Because even by Camp Cretaceous, they were off the island before the volcano exploded as well, so they couldn't even save an episode of Camp Cretaceous with them being at the main park while it's being destroyed or something. And then some trying to say that the volcanic, the ash in the cloud, the ash in the air and everything was enough to reach the sauna and do it as well. No, stop it. But Owen gets some movement out of his legs and manages to roll just ahead of the lava. And we cut to, as I said, the logo of the Explorer of the lava flowing over it. Oh, yeah, one thing I did read on that wiki page as well. If you have... according to Google, you can approach lava if the wind's at your back and stay there for a few seconds. Obviously, you got the air coming behind you, blowing the radiant heat away from you. But at this point, Owen's boots are on fire. If not on fire, his clothes would be near their ignition point. He might be lucky he's been lying down the jungle floor and it's moist and dampened his clothes. But
even then, there's different kinds of lava, like you said. The kind of lava that I mentioned they're talking about is the kind like you commonly see in Hawaii, where it's kind of crusted over already, and that contains the heat. It's still radiating a lot of heat, but it's not radiating as much heat as the glowing lava like we see here. You know?
Yeah. Well, it hasn't even started to cool off and crust, like you're saying.
Exactly.
This has come from deep in the earth.
Yeah, this is fresh, gooey earth.
Yeah. even with the speed as well. Like you look at other volcano movies. No, let's not do that. That's a tangent. But it's still fairly fluid. And we've seen from the radio tower the previous shot with the mountain blowing, like those cracks were opening up right near the radio tower, right near this location, and the lava's pretty much spewing out of the ground like it's water. Very fluid, very hot, very, very dangerous to humans.
Yes.
Organic
very
things.
Dangerous to anything.
Yes.
And plus we see how hot it is when it ends up touching that, I think it was a hadrosaur skull that we see, and it instantly melts.
Well, yeah, as
that should have clearly burned Owen's clothes, like ignited them. Like, I think a good version that we see is in Star Wars when, like, Anakin's not even touching the lava; he's just like a couple of feet from it, and his clothes instantly catch fire.
And it's leather too.
Yeah.
For leather to catch fire, like there's a reason that's used in motorcycle protective clothing and that, because they've got a lot higher ignition point when you're sliding along the asphalt on your ass. But yeah, Anakin and the side of the Mustafar lava there. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mentioned Temple of Doom before, but then it's counteracted immediately by Willie not combusting. I suppose Volcano, you got the conductor jumping out of the rail car. He just melts into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that lava is not, it's liquid, but it's like a viscous liquid. Like, if anybody's ever played with slime, if you slowly put your fingers into it, your fingers sink down. But if you quickly try to slam your fingers into it, they're locked because of the viscosity.
Yeah, and then we're going to get lava sort of flowing into the bunker later, like water too, so this won't be the last time we mention it. Well, we've still got to get Owen out of this predicament yet. Luckily, he finds a log that's not too high that he can half roll over as he's getting a little bit more of his movement back, and of course logs are impervious to lava, so he's perfectly safe now that he's got over it. It's sort of weird, he rolls over and then puts his hand back on top of the log to pull himself up so he can see, just keep rolling, get out of there. But we're going to move into that. I'll get more of that next week. Looking at novel comparisons briefly, there's, as I said before, there's a deafening boom from the volcano. That's what makes the sinoceratops rear up. And Owen watches the Jurassic World vehicle being swallowed by lava. It hisses as the metal melted like butter. So, unfortunately, in the novel, it's the Jurassic World vehicle there, not the Explorer. And the lava flowing over it, and it pretty much melting like butter, is there to show you how hot that lava is. Yet, you're going to have Owen 2 feet away from it.
Now that would have been an interesting because we don't really get any sound effects as the lava is going over the. I mean, we get like that bubbling, crackling sound, but we don't really get like the metal, because the metal is basically being turned into more lava. It's so hot, it's melting, and we don't really get like that kind of like any kind of like hissing or crackling noises that indicates the metal is being basically melted down.
Mm. Even when you think about it, I remember when the behind the scenes stuff when they were on Cooler Ranch doing all this lava stuff and they had sort of little spot fires or the smoke. Even just the lava flowing through that dense jungle, like it,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't be able to see in this clearing. The smoke should be that thick.
True.
We're going to get a shot like in a minute, next minute, when Owen does look back up over the log at the clearing, and it's just a hellscape of flames in the car, the lava on the car and everything else. It just, it's weird. It's weird. We're going to get some lava in a building, sort of that. I don't really know if that's Bayona's specialty or not, but we know he sort of does the haunted house stuff. But we'll get to that in a couple of minutes' time anyway. Dave, anything else to add to 38 before we get heavy for the week?
No, I think we're good.
All right, lovely.